guys, and welcome back to another episode of our Pokemon Battle Series, the School of Hard Knocks. So throughout this episode, like every other, we'll be jumping on to the Pokemon Global Link Battle Spot ladder, playing under the Championship Battle rules, which is the equivalent rule set of the VGC 2018 season until that magic number rolls over on January the 1st and we're introduced to that new format. But in the meantime, we're going to continue playing VGC 17, which is the integrated early VGC 18 rules. We are going to be continuing on with our Hail mod this week. So last week we started playing a team based centric around Vanilluxe and Alolan Sandslash. We played it. It was a lot of fun last week, but we did kind of encounter some problematic matchups, some problematic Pokemon, and we ended up last week with the episode analyzer, which was meant to go up on Friday, but due to wonky scheduling, I totally messed up. It went out on Saturday, so I hope you guys have caught it, hope it made sense, hope you enjoyed it, and hope you found it beneficial. As I said in that episode analyzer, it is kind of baby steps at the minute. We are going to be kind of just teething our way through until we get a polished article. It will be happening every week now that we do that on a Friday. It will be this Friday as well, unless we have more scheduling issues, which I'm sure we won't, because I'll be double checking that to make sure it goes up on time and is scheduled. But as we mentioned within the episode analyzer, a few matchups that we had issues with were Sun. Now we played it last week and we managed to get through, but RNG was very kind to us in that match that allowed us to kind of get the win there, and I think we positioned ourselves well enough within that match to kind of take advantage of the RNG rolls we got with our sleep turns. Arcanine's another big problem there as well. But we've made some changes going into this week to kind of compensate for those issues that we were kind of experiencing last week. And we're going to trial a new setup with that Hail mod. So we've taken out the Gyarados, the Alolan Marowak, Alolan Muck, and the... what was the last Pokemon in there? I'm trying to think now. I've lost train of thought. Doesn't matter what it was off the top of my head, but we've changed that out and we've brought in Arcanine, Mandibuzz, Tapu Fini, and Xurkitree. So a few of the things that we noticed, Arcanine was a bit of a problem, so we've incorporated our own Arcanine, which is a nice switch into Arcanine. Also gets the Intimidate there as well. We've kept Roar from Gyarados on the Arcanine, so we've got a way to kind of get around setup stuff, and we brought in Mandibuzz as well, because one thing Mandibuzz does is has that overcoat ability. It's immune to sleep powders and things like that, and has access to Tailwind, which is massive, you know, in against that Sun matchup. So if we can get that set up, we can possibly outspeed things like Lilligant, not worry about the sleep powders, and start doing some good damage to the opposing Pokemon. Got Tapu Fini in there that allows us to get that misty terrain up as well if we want to, again stopping the sleep powders and things like that. And as well as that, if we can get the weather control back in our favour, those muddy waters and things like that will be doing a lot of damage. We've got to be a bit careful with the leaf storms and bloom dooms from things like Lilligant in particular, but I feel like it's a bit more sturdy as well. It gives us a bit more terrain control as well. It's benefiting the team all around. Tapu Fini also doesn't mind the rain, benefits from the rain, so that helps us there. And it's not too bad against Gigalith as well, you know, hitting with those muddy waters. And we went for a Calm Mind variant here, so I think that kind of helps us out against Trick Room as well, some elements of Trick Room. And then we've got Xurkitree on. Now, we did mention in a few of the comments that we had last week that Tapu Koko might be a really good answer, because Celesteela is something else that causes the Hail Core a few problems. With Arcanine and Xurkitree there now, it kind of alleviates that quite a lot. Xurkitree performs well with Tailwind support, Intimidate support as well. So we'll give it a go. It might not work, might work. We'll see, and we can always adjust as we go on. I just want to say one big thing though before we get into the matches today. Just a big shout out to every single one of you that commented, give feedback last week on the team and everything, suggestions and everything like that. You know, you guys are amazing at giving feedback. We had Antonia who's tested the team out, the QR code team. And just on that note as well, the QR code for last week's team is in the description below. I was meant to drop it on Friday. It was put together for that episode. I just never mentioned it and never put the link in. So it will be in the link today. If you want to go back and play last week's fun core team, do go ahead and have a go with that. It is a lot of fun. I would definitely recommend it. And if you do, let me know how you get on with it, what matchups you're kind of a bit wary of. We had Alessandro as well mentioned the Milotic, which we will definitely feature at some point this week before we finish up with the team. And Frederico as well, in particular, sent a pace bin of the team to me, a variation of a hail core, which is really interesting as well. So taking elements from everywhere and everything, and there's a lot of people out there that I haven't mentioned as well that also had great feedback and comments and suggestions. So thank you all, and hopefully we can kind of round things up towards the end of the week. And on Friday we have a really cool finished article of this hail core because I really like it. So we have made a few changes. We've changed the light clay on Alolan Sandslash. We've given it the Steelium Z, so it's got the Corkscrew Crush, I think that's what it is, the Steel Z move, and that was kind of from Emmy's team. She ran a hail core recently at a regional in the States and did really well, and she was running that Steelium Z on the Sandslash, and I really like the look of it, so we're giving that a try today. We've changed Hidden Power on Vanilluxe because I feel like maybe Icy Wind is something that would really benefit things like Circuitry and the Tapu Fini as well. We haven't got Bulldoze on Arcanine because we opted for Raw. I didn't want to drop the extreme speed, so it made sense putting it there. So hopefully that kind of balances things out, and we'll see how we get on because we have our first opponent of the day, and they're running a team of Tapu Koko, Garchomp, Arcanine, Tapu Fini, Whimsicott and Celesteela. So this looks a lot like my good friend Arasha Matty's team that he's been running a lot of this season with very good success, already earning that day one invite by a mile, and I think he's top of the CP board in Europe, so doing very well with this core. Very strong team, and it's going to be difficult to break down, but something like Mandibuzz here can perform very well. Circuitry as well doesn't do a bad job, and I think we might, do we want to bring a hail core here? I mean, it does kind of just a bit of an issue with the Arcanine and the Celesteela, but I mean, we have got ways to get around those with our Fini and a Circuitry as well. Tailwind here might be quite good. I'm going to lead off with the hail core, and I think I will definitely want to bring Arcanine 100% for the Intimidate and stuff like that, and it's a nice switch in, and maybe Fini as well, but then maybe Circuitry is good, but if we bring Circuitry, it kind of leaves us not many answers to the opposing Arcanine, whereas Fini can kind of cover that quite well. So let's see how we get on. Good luck to my opponent. And I hope you all had a nice weekend, whatever you got up to. If you were at tournaments or just doing general really cool life things over the weekend, let me know what you got up to and let me know how your weekends were. So hopefully we can get off to a good start today. So we do lead off with our hail mode, and we see the anti-hail mode come out from my opponent with the Celesteela and the Arcanine. So we are going to get our hail up, but the thing is, probably don't want to be sticking around in this situation, do we? Probably want to switch Sandslash out straight away. I mean, the Aurora Veil is going to be something that we kind of would like to take advantage of, but I mean, we could potentially just protect Sandslash here and bring in Arcanine for Vanilluxe, which might not be a bad idea to begin with. So we'll call Vanilluxe back, keep it around for later on, and bring in Arcanine. You know, we do put a lot of pressure onto that Celesteela straight away, so, but we might see a Leech Seed come out. But they might want to double into that Sandslash, thinking that it might have a Sash. But no, we just see Flare Blitz come out from the opposing Arcanine. You've got to imagine that's banded with the damage that it's doing, and a Flamethrower into that Sandslash. Okay. So you know the Arcanine is locked into Flare Blitz. It kind of gives us a nice option to probably bring in a Tapu Fini now. And we could go for a Flare Blitz onto the opposing Celesteela. But does it switch out into Garchomp? I don't know if it would switch out into Garchomp, because there's every chance that we could go for a double into the Celesteela this turn round. So it's unlikely that Garchomp might be the Tapu Fini. But we'll preserve Sandslash for later on. And just let this Arcanine fire off Flare Blitzes, which I don't mind at the moment. We're not too heavily threatened right now. So Celesteela is withdrawing, and Tapu Fini coming in. So there's a Flare Blitz, bound to be into the Fini slot, you've got to imagine. It is, but we take that alright. And we'll get our own Flare Blitz off, but I'm not going to be doing too much to this Tapu Fini. And if this is a copy of Arash's team, you've got to imagine that... I know that his Tapu Fini was a Carmine variant. So one thing we could do is roar that slot, kind of capitalise if it does go for that Carmine. I am going to Carmine myself. It's just whether my opponent kind of just goes for the Muddy Water. But we should take a Muddy Water, to be honest. I'm going to roar into it to get it off the field, because I don't really want to deal with Carmine Fini right this second. I kind of need to deal with that Arcanine, and then I can bring in maybe Vanilluxe and capitalise off a Freeze Dry at some point. So let's hope we don't get punished for this play. But I'd imagine it's quite an easy turn for my opponent to go for that Carmine tier. So we are going to see Arcanine switch out. I'm going to see Whimsicott come in. We use Carmine. What does the opposing Fini do? This isn't great for us either, because and they're just going for Muddy Water, but Arcanine, we actually avoid it. Okay. Yeah, this isn't great for us, because that Whimsicott could have Encore, which it probably does have. We do see Celesteela come in, but that Whimmy's Sash is broken, so we could potentially just Flare Blitz into it this turn round, protect our Fini, so we're not locked into Calm Mind. But then that does open up a can of worms a little bit, because if my opponent reads into this play, then they could just freely switch in the Arcanine for Whimsicott, and that puts us in a bit of an awkward situation where we haven't got Arcanine on the field. To get that Intimidate off, and if it's banded, then it's got Wild Charge and it potentially could pick up the KO onto our Tapu Fini. That's the only problem. I'm going to go for it though. Hopefully we don't see that Arcanine switch in on that slot. Celesteela withdrawing. Hopefully it's the Arcanine. Arcanine there, so that's fine. Because I think even a -1 Flare Blitz should take down that Wimmy. Do we see the Encore? And if not, then we've got... yeah, there's the Encore. Then we've got Extreme Speed to use the next turn, if it does survive. I don't know if it will though. Okay, so just about. This should proc a berry. And that Wimmy will go down to Hail, as long as it doesn't end this turn. Okay. You've got to imagine though that the Wild Charge does take us down. I'm just going to pull up. So, okay, let's see. I want to have a quick look on the damage calculator. I never do this ever. But I am going to do it today just to have a quick look. see if we can get away with it. If it is banded, choice band, Arcanine. Yeah, that's going to pick up the KO, I think. Yeah, 100%. So we need to switch out really to something to take that wild charge. Like Vanilluxe is probably not a bad shout here, and I think even Sandslash will take that. It means wasting our... We could pull a double switch actually. I think I'm going to do that. Because that Arcanine has to go for a wild charge here, really. Because that Finny is putting on so much pressure with a +1 Muddy Water at this point. The problem is doing this though, Hill's going to end this turn. So, yeah, there's the wild charge. Sandslash able to take it. But it does mean that we are going to be able to get a... And there's a Calm Mind from the Finny. And the Hill stops, which is a bit of a problem, but we could go for a double into the Finny, to be honest. Freeze Dry and a Corkscrew Crash. Yeah, let's go for it. Because the Arcanine's not going to be picking up the KO on either Pokemon here. So hopefully the Finny doesn't protect and it goes for like a Muddy Water. No protect. So we should get the KO on the Finny. And there's the Berry procking. And Sandslash, Sandslash probably won't outspeed the Finny, to be honest. Will it? No. Muddy Water. Does Sandslash take it? Come on, Sandy. No! Ah, that's not great. Okay. I wonder if probably a Moonblast and a Freeze Dry would pick up the KO onto the Finny here. But whether the Finny kind of picks up on that and protects. Let's go for a Calm Mind. Because what I expect my opponent to do maybe is protect the Finny here, knowing that we could potentially pick up a KO. And then have the Celesteela go for a Heavy Slam into the Vanilluxe slot. So we could go for a Calm Mind ourselves, bring in Arcanine. But we've got to kind of hope that that Tapu Fini does protect here. So if it goes for a Muddy Water, then we'll probably lose Arcanine. And then we probably lose the match as well, because we don't really have a way to deal good damage to no protects. Okay. That Celesteela was what I was about to say. So we do get the Calm Mind off. Tapu Fini just going for Muddy Water. Does hit the Arcanine this time. +1. Bye bye Arcanine. Just unfortunate. I don't think the crit mattered, and an accuracy drop on our Finny. Should have just stayed in and double targeted. Heavy Slam coming out. We are able to take that, but we're in a pretty dire situation now where the Arcanine can come in and just pick up KOs on either our Pokemon. We could always freeze the Celesteela, I guess. We can definitely fire off a Blizzard. Do we just Moonblast and Blizzard? Or do we Muddy Water and Blizzard? Probably Muddy Water and Blizzard. Hope it hits the Celesteela. So there's a Blizzard going off. We get a freeze on this Celesteela. No. Muddy Water. Ah, Finny avoided. Not the one we want to be avoiding. We do hit the Celesteela. I don't know if +1 from here is going to be enough. No. Accuracy though. Proc and a Berry. If we get some major luck here, then we might be able to at least get rid of these two. Moonblast. Vanilluxe is not taking this. Nah. So we need this to miss. And it doesn't. So that's going to be game. Well, not yet. Maybe. But we're not going to be taking down the Finny with the Muddy Water, to be honest. No way. So this is pretty much over, which is a bit unfortunate, but that banded Arcanine just causes so many issues, and maybe we should have approached the game a little differently. Maybe the Mandibuzz here might have been a good one to bring, but these are things when we change the team up and stuff like that, it's going to take a little bit of adjusting to get into. That accuracy drop as well was horrible. It's we're missing Muddy Waters left, right and centre, which is not great, but like I say, I don't think it mattered at this point. Good game to my opponent, solid team, but I think we just need to take a few pointers from this match going forward. So we'll go on to our next game, hopefully do a little bit better. Circuitry there would have been really good, you know, if we utilised the Tailwind and maybe brought the Core 4 that we've just added into the team rather than the Hail mod there. It didn't really offer too much in the end at all, so that was probably a bit of a mistake. You know, it was such a hard matchup anyway with those manoeuvring them around the field and things like that. I think if we'd been able to bring maybe Mandibuzz and Circuitry there and use that Tailwind, got a Tail Glow off. Problem is always getting rid of that Whimsicott though. If you've got setup on your team, and that's why Whimsicott's so good, you can predict the setup on a certain Pokemon, bring in the Wimmy, lock it into that setup, so it's kind of rendered useless for the rest of the game and kind of forces you to switch it out. Difficult, but I think, yeah, we should have probably brought something else to that game there. But let me know what you think. I think it's pretty clear cut though. We needed the Circuitry. Like, it would have just decimated the Finny and the Celesteela. Even without a Tail Glow, we could have been doing some good damage. So, lessons. And hopefully it doesn't take too long to find our next opponent. So, I didn't really get a chance either last week, to say thank you to everyone that came out for the stream. So we did QR code battles last week where everyone brought their own QR code teams, and we played those on the stream last week, and it was a lot of fun, so it was amazing. We will be streaming again this Thursday evening, 8 PM UK time, Greenwich Mean Time +1, and this week we're going to be doing Battle Spot doubles on the stream, so that'll be a lot of fun. And kind of, we might have a new team, but we might just play the Rain Core that we've been messing around with. So either way, it's going to be a lot of fun. If you're around, do come and hang out, and we can chat about possibly the new format and stuff like that, if any news drops this week. Oh, come on, Battlespot. Let's not do this. I swear it's a Monday thing. Every time on a Monday, we get one match straight away, and then our next match takes forever to find. But we'll just quickly get into it. Hope I've clicked on the right thing. I don't know if I have. Have I? Just button mashing, so hopefully we've come through to the right ladder. Sure we have. Yeah, championship pass, so that's fine. And I was just reading before I started recording this episode, just reading the news that it's been announced that the Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon is going to be the last title on the actual 3DS console, which is a little bit sad, but at the same time a little bit exciting, because the next one, as we already know, is going to be on the Switch. Does mean making sure that we've got Switches, of course, for when the next generation comes out. But I'm really kind of intrigued to see how they're going to set VGC tournaments up, because I know the battery life on the portable device of the Switch isn't that long. It's nowhere near as powerful as the 3DS. So I don't know if you'd be able to take it to a tournament and play a full Swiss round of tournament time on this handheld device. It's really interesting to kind of think of how they're going to adapt it, and I can't imagine tournaments being set up with hundreds of Switches set up in one room for players to come along with maybe their own cartridge and play. So it's going to be interesting to see how they adapt it going forward. Maybe they do. This is an idea I had. I had an idea of. We'll come back to it at another time, and if I forget, remind me on the stream on Thursday. But it's a cool idea. So we have our next opponent, Jack, and they're running Tapu Koko, Mimikyu, Salamence, Mudsdale, Whimsicott, and Politoed. So for the most part, our Hail Core is loving most of this team to go up against. Politoed's a bit of an issue, but what have we got? We've got probably a Trick Room mode with the Mimikyu, the Mudsdale, probably Perish Song, Politoed, Tailwind, Wimmy with Encore, you've got to imagine. Salamence could be the Z move here. I would imagine it probably is that and the Mimikyu. I can't imagine it being an Assault Vest. It doesn't really make too much sense on this call. So Dragon Dance, maybe Fly MZ. Tapu Koko, probably Life Orb. Could be Specs, could be Assault Vest though. Do we lead? Do we lead? Do we lead? Do we lead? What do we lead? Well, what do we need here? Definitely need a Hail mode. I think Finny will be good here as well. Maybe Xurkitree as well. But we can't bring all of those, can we? Let's go Finny and Sandslash, Vanilluxe and Arcanine. And let's see what my opponent's got. And one thing I keep wondering as well is, am I just forcing the Hail kind of every match? And that's not the real way to really play the team, I don't think. If we're kind of forcing it every game, it's not really going to work. So I think we have to maybe take a little step back sometimes. I feel like I want to bring the Hail to every game, and it's not the way to really play it. You know, if it's not the right situation to bring it, I don't think we should be bringing it really. So maybe that's something to look at as well. And maybe something we need to improve on going in tomorrow's episode. So we see my opponent lead off with that Mimikyu, Tapu Koko. We could go Muddy Water and Iron Head into the Mimikyu. We do need to be a bit careful of potentially the Koko with the Electrium, I guess. That could be a bit of an issue. But I mean, I want a Muddy Water, and I want to just go for the Corkscrew Crash into Mimikyu. So I'm going to do Tapu Koko Volt Switching. We should take this. Does decent damage to Finny. What's coming in? Is it going to be the Toad, or is it going to be Mudsdale? Okay, so hopefully we see a Trick Room here, because if we do, and as long as that Muddy Water hits, Twinkle Tackle. Don't be into Finny. It's into Finny, and we're gonna, yeah, and we're wasting our Z move into that disguise. So Twinkle Tackle Mimikyu. There's no way it's into Sandslash. It just doesn't make sense. No. So we're gonna lose Finny here, which is a bit of a shame. I guess at least we see this cool animation. What a waste of a Z move though. Should have really thought about this a bit more. But it might be so strong it just crushes the disguise and crushes the Mimikyu in the process. But unfortunately it's not. We just break the disguise. What a waste. So, but we've got a nice opportunity to bring in a Vanilluxe here. And we could potentially and my opponent's definitely brought the Politoed 100%. So we could freeze dry into that Mudsdale slot and go for an Iron Head into the Mimikyu. Because if the Politoed comes in, we'll catch it. And we should be picking up the KO onto that Mimikyu with a Sandslash Iron Head. Yeah, I want to do that. Because I feel like the Politoed has to come in here. Oh, Mimikyu withdrawing, Politoed coming in on that side. So my opponent making the better call there. Keeping the Mudsdale in. Because I don't expect Freeze Dry to pick up the KO onto the Mudsdale here. Iron Head coming out. Freeze Dry. Specs Freeze Dry enough to take down this Mudsdale. No way. That's probably Assault Vest. Heavy Slam. Okay. So we're left with Arcanine now. Arcanine and Sandslash against the Politoed in the rain. This game is done. Done. It's not great today. But let's not give up just yet. Protect Arcanine. And I'll go for an Icicle Crash into the Mudsdale. Scald into Arcanine. Icicle Crash. Hopefully it picks up the KO. Yeah. But now we got Coco to come in. And it's going to start pinging off Thunders, so this game is over. Yeah, here we go. I'm going to double into Coco with an Icicle Crash and an Extreme Speed. But you gotta imagine the Thunder, Scald, yeah. We do take it. You gotta imagine the Thunder is probably into Sandslash, and I don't expect we're gonna take a Thunder from a Tapu Koko. It's not life orbed, but it's just a T-Bolt into Arcanine. Somehow managed to take that as well. Arcanine being a boss. So we should take down the Koko here. No, we don't. Maybe an Extreme Speed will. But let's protect. Let's just double protect because I want to try and stall this rain out. How many turns have we got left of it? 2. Okay. Yeah, because if my opponent doesn't switch up this next turn, then might get lucky with Tapu Koko withdrawn, Mimikyu coming in. I wonder if we'll just see Perish Song come out here though. No, might not have Perish Song. Like it would have used it by now if it had. Okay. I think we're going to have to resign to the fact that we're probably going to lose Arcanine here unless we get super lucky. Somehow. We'll Iron Head into the Politoed and Extreme Speed it. Might get the flinch. Doubt we will though. And we're not even going to do that because we're not even outspeeding the Politoed. Mimikyu Shadow Claw. Need like a crit here, and I don't think it's even going to matter. So, probably proc a berry, do we? No, rain does stop though. It doesn't matter at this point, to be honest. what happens is just too much offense from my opponent to actually make a comeback. We've not got enough in the tank to take down 3 Pokemon at this point. And especially with us not outspeeding anything as well, it just makes it too difficult for us. I think bringing the Hail mode here was probably not the right call. We got very complacent with that turn 1 where we just left the Finny open to a quick KO, and from there it was just it was really difficult for us to maneuver around. So taking a Scald from the Politoed, Shadow Claw takes us down. So good game to my opponent. A bit of a disappointing one today, but we've made those changes. And we'll come back and try again tomorrow, and then probably make some additional changes on Wednesday. But I think that the key thing from today is we can't force that Hail Core every time we want to bring it, and it's just not working. So, as I say, we'll take what we've got from today's episode and not be too disappointed with how the outcomes have come about. But I think there were definitely matches we could have won. I think we just went around it the totally wrong way, and there'll be really good matches to kind of bring back and look at on Friday in the episode analyzer completely. But let me know your thoughts on the games today, guys. Let me know your thoughts on the team changes in general as well. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are around that. The changes we made do make sense with what we're struggling against, but maybe we lose something in the process of doing that. Who knows? As I mentioned earlier on, the QR code for last week's team, which is that Hail Call with the Mega Gyarados, the Alolan Marowak, the Alolan Muck was what we couldn't remember earlier, and what was the other one now? Every time, one comes in, one goes out. Anyway, the team from last week, QR code team, is in the description below. So if you want to try it out, go ahead. Let me know how you get on with it, and we'll come back tomorrow and reevaluate how things are kind of going with this team. So hopefully it'll be a little bit better. I expect it to. But I think the big thing, like we keep mentioning, is just not forcing that Hail mode when it's not relevant and it's not the right decision to make in that point in time against that team and that opponent. So I think that's a big thing. But thank you so much for tuning in, guys. It's always a pleasure. I'm just thankful for all the support and everything that you guys are giving the channel and myself and everything like that. Sorry we didn't get the wins today, but we'll be back. We'll come back stronger tomorrow and hopefully kind of turn things back around. But as always, if you've enjoyed today's episode, do give me a second of your time and just hit that like button down below. It does really help out the channel. If you're new to the channel, do subscribe, because we have a ton of VGC content, from best of 3 battle sport doubles, which are leading up to VGC 18 season. We have this series, which is our VGC content and everything like that. So have a lot of stuff going on all the time, and stuff in the motions, which will be coming out very soon as well. So I'm going to wrap things up there, guys. Have an amazing Monday evening, morning, afternoon, or if it's not Monday, whatever time of day it is, just have an awesome time. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you all tomorrow. So until then, guys, take care and bye bye.